So welcome everyone. It's good to see you. Now this week's topic is suchness and surrender. Two very often discussed topics. And particularly today, it's about knowing suchness. It's the title of today's talk. So suchness is a term that is found very often in the Buddha's teachings. The word that the Buddha uses in Pali language is tatata. It's quite a funny sounding word. Actually, it means the way it is, suchness. So how is it? It is such. It is like this. Okay, we kind of talked a little bit about this topic last week already. So it's a nice kind of continuation from last week, actually. Now, suchness is something that, and particularly also in the context of surrender, is something that very often is surfacing nowadays online, with all these inspirational quotes and, on Instagram, Facebook, and all the social media. People like to post these kind of very inspiring things that are very often also understood very superficially, and then people comment underneath it, "Wow, that's so true. It's so real. This is exactly the way it is. It's so inspiring." This is a very superficial way of dealing with these profound spiritual teachings, actually, which is at the same time is very simple and profound. Suchness, the teaching of suchness, the way it is. So we are encouraged to actually look at the way it is, to understand the way it is. It's one of the most difficult things to do for us, to sit there and bear with ourselves. Sit there and actually stay, not to run away from ourselves. So as soon as we are confronted with the way it is, usually we react to it in two different ways. We either get lost in it, we follow it, or we start pushing against it and trying to get rid of it. That's what the Buddha calls suffering. Is at the very root of suffering is craving. A craving for something to go away or for something to continue to exist. So the way we relate to our experiencing in this present moment is either through trying to get rid of or trying to make it last. And this topic is found throughout the world, in everyone's mind, continuously, 24/7. If your mind is still untrained, if you have no spiritual experience or power, then there is no awareness. Therefore, we are either lost in pushing against or following something. So, for example, you might be lost in your thoughts. Being lost in your thoughts can also be through pushing against them or trying to follow them. You can also be lost in your emotions. You can be lost through ignorance, call it like not knowing that it is an emotion and an emotion is normal and natural. Instead, we know it through the filter or the lens of it's good or bad. And so, this is a good emotion, therefore I must make it last. Then also we express that kind of the way we relate to things. We express it in our life also externally, not only internally towards ourselves, but also externally. For example, your favorite song comes on, you push a repeat. You want to hear it again and again. Or you turn up the volume. You want to get more lost in it. Or we want to lose ourselves in things. We want to forget ourselves and things. This is a topic of distraction. We want to get out of ourselves. We want to get away from ourselves. Why is there such a need? This is very often what we don't question, right? We just simply follow the impulse. I want to get distracted, so I just do it. Just go to the fridge and grab something. Instead of sitting there doing nothing. Just observing myself. Because if I do so, if I sit there, do nothing, and observe myself, I notice my discomfort. I notice just how uncomfortable I am with myself. And where does this discomfort come from? Well, it comes exactly from that way that I relate to myself, either trying to get rid of or trying to hold on to something. The problem with trying to hold on to something and trying to make something last is that nothing does last. And if you'd actually manage to hold on to something, it would turn into pain. You could try that with anything, really. Think of your favorite food. Then just keep eating. What happens? Does it get better and better? Does it get more and more your favorite food, or less and less? How about one of the favorite feelings of mankind, which is sex, right? Think of it as not stopping. What would happen? Would it still be good if it wouldn't stop? If it would just keep going and going? Massage, same thing. You can put it to the test, right? Anything that you like doing, just keep doing it. Just don't stop it. Just make an experiment. There's a little bit of a scientific experiment. What about the things that I really like doing? Laughter. Do you like laughing? Try to keep laughing then. See what happens. And you will notice that even if you could hold on to something, you'd quickly notice that it's not worth holding on to, because it will lead to pain in the long run. And so what is pleasure that we experience in day-to-day living? Pleasure is the coming to an end of a previous problem. Let's say the new relationship is the coming to an end of being single. When the state of being a single becomes so unbearable, then the relationship is kind of the relief. Now I'm together with someone again, how nice. And that is what we experience as nice. Right now, again, posture is such a nice example. Right now your body is slowly accumulating pain to an extent where it becomes unbearable, and you will then change your posture. Then the change appears as pleasurable because the previous problem comes to an end. So we are always looking for what the Buddha refers to as nirvana, the extinguishing of suffering, the extinguishing of a problem. And this is reflected in literally every single thing we do in this world. It's this kind of trying to get out of a problem, trying to fix a problem. And unfortunately, that's exactly the way we relate to ourselves, in terms of, I am a problem that needs to be solved. So as long as we are completely lost in that very dreamlike kind of perceptions of life and ourselves, we will suffer those. We are also limited according to those perceptions and beliefs and so forth that we have. Because we don't see it for what it is. We are lost in it. I mentioned it last week, for example. Instead of thinking that Buddhists are the best kind of religious people in the world, and kind of Christians are a bit inferior to that, but Buddhists are better than Christians, let's say I subscribe to that idea, okay, then I will suffer that idea. And I will find myself constantly arguing, maybe online with Christians, and it's kind of the thing, it's a topic in my head. And it will find its way through my speech and through other expressions into this life, and it will create problems for myself and others. That kind of view. Because I'm lost in it. Now, with the teachings of Suchness, we are encouraged to see that, it is just that. It's just a belief that at some point has found a way into my head, and then it has built a home there. The more I subscribe to it, the bigger the home got. And now I'm living in this big villa of, Buddhists are better than Christians. They're kind of more logical, and They have still a living spiritual practice. It's found very often, actually, this comparison, right? Here, this religion compares to that religion, like this and like that. And then we really subscribe to that, and then it really takes shape in this world as real problems. Actually, people killing and attacking each other, fighting above nothing but a mind-made idea. An imagination. We are fighting wars over our imagination. It's how crazy it gets. We feel better than others. That is an imagination that we are very subscribed to, that we're really, really deeply invested in. And so all these imaginations, they make the world work the way it works, at least in this room. Could also be other imaginations, different ideas, different perceptions. Different priorities in our minds. But it is like this. The world is like this. It is because it is full of people who are like this and who have minds like this, who get angry, who separate and compare and judge. It's the way it is. It's all these attitudes, all these things, all these states of mind and emotion, they have a place in this realm. Judgment, hate, anger, they exist. Death, illness, accidents, worry, pain, despair exists. And now the mind comes up and says, yeah, but it shouldn't exist. And here's where the problem starts. Oh, I'm worrying today. I woke up feeling grumpy and I'm worried. I'm fearful. But I shouldn't, because I'm spiritual. I'm a meditator. I shouldn't feel these feelings. Here's where the problem starts. I shouldn't. I shouldn't be like that. Something is wrong with me, since I have those feelings that I shouldn't have. Here we are encouraged to, again, see the way it is. But it is there. The feeling is there. It's undeniable. It's in your face even. It's literally shaking you awake. It's kind of like that. Sometimes very violent emotions and things that we experience in life that are very strong, very powerful. They're almost like a shaking you awake. It's like, look, life is not yours. You're not in control. Do you see it yet? The more you fight, the more you resist, the more sometimes life will show you, no. Want to play a few more games? And life will challenge your ideas, and it will challenge your opinions and assumptions. It will challenge the way you are stuck in yourself and the things you have learned and your beliefs and your thoughts and so forth. Unless you start to realize that the way you are is like this. Right now, you are like this. Your mind is like this. Your body is like this. You can't find peace. As long as we live by should and could and would, there is no peace. You cannot relax there. So you're in this constant treadmill of trying to get somewhere else, trying to become someone else, trying to make things different. And what is that based on? It is based on the illusion, on the idea that somehow there will be a happy ending that you need to get to, where all your problems are gone, where you will be happy ever after. And everything will be totally nice, safe and secure. You just need to get there. What if that wouldn't exist, though? What if that utopia in our heads of a future that is absolutely flawless, perfect? What if that was the real problem? That utopia, we're all trying to get somewhere that doesn't really exist. We all try to get to La La Land. And particularly in spiritual circles, that is a very, very profound and deep idea. We all try to get to the La La Nirvana land, where all my problems will be solved, and where I'll be happy forever after, and then I won't be bothered by anything anymore, and I will be super nice and easy and relaxed all the time. What if that wouldn't exist? A very nice statement for reflection would be, whatever you think you are, that's what you're not. Whatever you think it is, that's what it's not. It points back to suchness. What is it then? Well, it is just thinking. Whatever you think you are is just thinking. That would be pretty honest. You can see that. You are very honest with yourself. Oh, I'm thinking. The mind thinks. Well, that's what it does. It thinks a lot. Can think whole worlds into existence. About me and others and how just or unjust life is and what could happen and what did happen and why that happens and if there is a threat that this might happen again and what I could do to prevent it from happening again, but what about plan A, plan B and all that kind of stuff. It is all based on the idea that you will find the perfect kind of moment in the future where you will not have to worry anymore. And the funny idea is that worrying will get you there. This is ridiculous. It's the worry train will get you into worry land. It will not get you into peace. Worry is self-supporting. It supports itself. It wants to grow. It wants to live. Like every cell in this universe wants to grow, to multiply, to expand, to live, to exist. It wants to be there. So does your worry. And it will try to convince you so it can hang out a little bit longer. Here is why I should exist. Here are all the reasons why you should rely on me. I will make your life great in the future. If you just worry hard enough, your life will, all your problems will be solved in one day. You'll be totally fine. Trust me. Here's the problem. We're trusting that. We actually trust it. Otherwise, what's the point of worrying, right? We feel that there's something in it for us if we just worry. If we knew clearly that, oh, there's nothing in it for me when I worry. There's absolutely nothing in it for me. It's just worrying. You could drop it. You see, it's just worrying. It destroys the peace in this moment if I follow that. Similarly, if I fight against it also. Very popular too. Worrying comes up in your mind, what's your first instinct? Get rid of it. How can I stop worrying? This is the famous example of the dog biting its own tail. It's worrying about being worried. When you're angry, guess what? You're angry at being angry. You try to get rid of your anger, and it doesn't work. We're fighting against ourselves, literally, most of the time. And that will express itself in this world. So we fight with each other also. You shouldn't be the way you are. Let me fix you. Here's a beginning. And why would we do this to other people? Because we constantly do it ourselves. I shouldn't be that way. Let me fix that. Meditation might help. You go to meditation class in the hope to find that ultimate knockout punch that will get rid of all your flaws. But instead, you only find more and more encouragement to look at the way it is. not the way you have learned how it should be. How you should be. But how are you then? Beyond conceptualization and beyond ideologies, how are you right now? How is it being in this room and sitting quietly, closing your eyes? Are there distractions? Is that normal? Great. Can you be at peace with that? Good. You will be already more relaxed than the person that's not at peace with distractions. So I shouldn't be distracted. See, that's a problem nowadays. Many people think that they cannot meditate because they're too distracted, or that they cannot practice yoga because they're not flexible enough. Sound funny? Think about it. It is actually very funny. Yeah, yoga isn't for me because I'm not flexible enough. But isn't that exactly why you do it? And why you start it? How about meditation? Oh, no, I can't sit still. Would you learn it though? And why would you learn it?
Practice.
Yeah. Why practice? What's the point? Why would you engage such a path? You need to know why. You understand, what am I doing here? What am I trying to get? So that points to your attitude. What makes you sit? What makes you come to the meditation class? What makes you listen to the teachings? What makes you read that book? What makes you think that way? And then see it is like this. And let it, particularly during meditation class, I'm not saying let everything be. Another common misunderstanding, you need to let go completely. No. Very stupid idea. Think of, you're in the boat, or maybe you're just drowning in the water. Suddenly a raft floats by. Oh, great, you found a raft. Safety. Now that raft could get you to an island, which is nearby. Would it be wise to let go of the raft? No. And yourself is exactly that. It's a raft. It should be trained accordingly. As Thanissaro Bhikkhu says very nicely, let go like a millionaire, not like a poor person. Many people, they let go like poor people. They haven't built any reliable skills. They let go, very often then fall into darkness and despair and spiritual crisis and all that kind of stuff. Why? Because they have nothing to fall back onto. That's why you need to train yourself, develop yourself, cultivate yourself alongside letting go. And then you let go of the things that you don't need anymore. You don't let go of things that you need. That's wrong letting go. It's unskillful letting go. That's not right surrender. It will not lead to peace. As Luang Pu Thun, he says, if you climb up a ladder, you need to hold on to the, how do you call the bars on the ladder, right?
Rungs.
The
Rungs.
rungs, yes. So you need to hold on to the rungs. You shouldn't let go of them prematurely, but as soon as you get to the next rung, you can let go of the previous one, correct? Like that. In the same way, when you practice meditation, you only let go of what you can safely discard. You can let it go because you have something better. Many people think of letting go and surrender, but without having anything. They have nothing. They fall back onto nothing, and very often that leads to despair. Wrong letting go. So build the strength, the power of yourself to a point where it becomes so reliable and so refined where you can let go accordingly. And yes, there might be a moment at some point, I'm not qualified to talk about it, but there might be a moment where you can let go completely. But up to that point, we can let go according to our skills. Right now, the question is always, right now, what can you surrender? And what are you surrendering to? For example, can you surrender anger to kindness? Maybe you might not be able to surrender it to full, pure awareness. Good. Can you surrender it to kindness? Can you surrender it to a skillful thought set, which helps you to forgive, which helps you to accept that you're a human being that experiences those emotions occasionally? That might be on your level of skill. It's something you can actually do. And it makes your life better right now and here. And that has an impact not only on yourself, but on everybody. It has to do something with you. So it's not only just a responsibility to do that for ourselves, but once you liberate the world from your own bullshit, once you free the world from your own pain, that is a great service to the extent that you can free yourself from your pain. You be at service to other people. How much pain can you let go of right here and now? That's your service. It's your gift to others. And it's your gift to yourself, obviously. And so don't let go and don't surrender things that you cannot surrender and you should not surrender. Surrender reason. Wrong. You should not surrender reason. You should keep it. It is useful. Keep it. Surrender kindness. No. Not the time for it. Keep it. It's a very good thing to have. Surrender anger. Yeah. Maybe a good one. Can you? And you see, I say maybe. Is it? Is it good to surrender anger? Question it. Use your wisdom. Does it serve you? See it right there when it burns in your heart. Is that a wise thing to let go of that? When you ingest poison, is it a wise thing to vomit? To get it out? Oh yes, sure it is. Does it require effort? Yes. What kind of effort? The next question. What kind of effort does that require to let go of anger? It requires the effort of forgiveness. It requires the effort of creating space. Here is where the spiritual practice comes in. It's our responsibility towards ourselves and the world. Right? And if you do that, you will approach gradually greater and greater space of peace, of being at ease with yourself. But if you practice the wrong way, then that will have results too. So it's really important to practice with wisdom, correctly. Not because you subscribe to some guru with a big beard that says fancy inspirational things online, but because you use your reason, your wisdom, and your investigation to find out whether that is actually true. Many people say, Christianity is not for me, it's all dogma, and then they subscribe to the next dogma online on YouTube. It's just as dogmatic. It's the same thing. Now they don't say Amen, they say Om. It's the same thing, it's just different clothes. So it's really important to go against the grain of the masses if you want to practice well. And that requires right effort, proper reflection, and good company. People who are as intent on finding truth as you are. Who are not satisfied with inspirational quotes. They want the real deal. And they want to know whether it works. It has to work, it has to work. As my teacher always said, proof is in the pudding. It has to work. You think you've attained something, put it to the test. Do you still suffer? Do you still suffer that? Put it to the test. easy to put it to the test. There's many ways how you could put it to the test. Keep growing, learning, test yourself. And then slowly, slowly develop that quality of peace more and more as you become your own refuge for real. You become an island to yourself, as the Buddha says so nicely. You become an island to yourself through hard work and right efforts. Not through laziness and subscribing to some fancy idea, right? Okay? That's all comes to mind for today. Any questions?